These are the top 50 outfielders for Underdog Fantasy's best ball baseball drafts. Number 50, we have Jared Kelenic of the Atlanta Braves, who was a top prospect in the Mariners organization but never really caught on. Now that he's been traded to not only a better hitter's park but a better lineup as well, if he gets playing time, he should be a great post-hype sleeper. Number 49, we have Max Kepler of the Minnesota Twins. He's got a ton of power but not a ton of speed, so I don't love his upside. 48, we have Starling Marte of the New York Mets, who had a bounce-back season in terms of steals from 2022, but is still rapidly declining in terms of his raw speed and his power. Even though I anticipate the New York Mets are going to be better than they were last year, I still see Marte as a low floor, low ceiling guy. The next two players are still free agents, but they're productive when they're healthy, and that's a big asterisk because last year, both of their seasons were cut short by injury. First is JD Martinez, who, despite aging, is still very productive when he plays. At 46, we have Jock Peterson, who was very productive when he played, but he only played about half of a season last year for the Giants. His StatCast profile is still very red, but it's unclear where he's going to play and how much he's going to play when he signs. At 45, there's also another sleeper, but mostly because he's a young prospect who's continuing to develop. That's Jarren Duran of the Boston Red Sox. Last year, he was a sneaky producer for steals, and there's hope this year that not only could his power develop, but also that the Red Sox lineup could bounce back and not be as bad as it was last year. At 44, we have Byron Buxton, who was incredibly hyped going into last year, but didn't really do anything. There's the question of, is the upside still there? At 43, we have Dalton Varsho of the Toronto Blue Jays, who had a pretty solid floor because he played a lot for the Blue Jays, but I don't love his StatCast profile, and if he continues to slump, he could lose playing time. Number 42 is Joey Meneses of the Washington Nationals, who's a talented player, but he plays in a bad lineup, so I don't love his upside. At number 41, we have Andrew Benintendi of the Chicago White Sox. He has a solid hit tool and gets on base a lot, but he doesn't hit for a ton of power, doesn't steal, and he's also aging. I don't love his upside. At number 40, we have Josh Lowe of the Tampa Bay Rays, who had a huge breakout season last year. The problem with drafting him has to do with his talent and his opportunity. Not only has he struggled to hit against left-handed pitchers, but the Rays know this and don't play him against lefties that much. So you could draft him hoping that in some weeks they have a ton of righty matchups, but it does cap his ceiling a little bit. Stay tuned for the rest of my Underdog Fantasy Best Ball ranking.